So hello, my name is Roger Eek. I'm the Technical Product Support Manager for Tarmac in London and Anglia. And I'm here today with Richard Stiles from Ealing. Richard, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Richard Stiles. I work for Ealing Council in the Highways Department, and I manage the annual infrastructure renewal programme, which includes carriageway surfacing and footway repaving schemes.
Okay, thank you, Richard. So last year you were given a project to do on the A312 Mandeville Road at Northholt, directly outside the tube station. Can you give us a bit of background about the scheme, the challenges that you faced, and what the original specification for the project was?
Yeah, certainly. The A312 is a busy trunk road which feeds into the A40. It also is in front of Northolt London Underground station. The road was in very poor condition, and we applied to Transport for London for principal road surfacing funding. Happily, they were able to grant funding to us, but because it was during the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns, they imposed a tight deadline for delivery to us. So I think we received the funding in August or summer, and we actually had to get the scheme delivered by the end of September, very early October at the latest, which, with a lot of assistance from various people, we were able to achieve.
And what was the original design for the surfacing project?
It was plain and lay 110 mil because the road was in poor condition and the binder poor as well. So we wanted to go deep, lay a new HDM binder course and either an HRA or an SMA 50 mil thick wearing course.
Yeah, that road is travelled by buses as well as general traffic. Quite a lot of HGV movements making their way to or from the A40.
Absolutely, it's an incredibly busy road. Also 24/7, and it's very heavily bus trafficked as well. I think there's about.
And how long was the scheme due to take place?
The original spec would have actually taken us 4 nights, so it's actually dual carriageway with a median strip. We'd have done one side first, and then we'd have switched sides and then moved to the other. So it's 2 nights one side, 2 nights the other, 4 in total.
And would the road have had to have been reopened each morning for regular traffic?
Categorically, yes. We'd have had lots of problems if we ran late. So it was, I think we worked from about 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. at the latest.
So you eventually satisfied all these requirements and booked the road space and were good to go.
Yep.
And then what did you find?
Now this was the major hurdle that we encountered, because normally we would do the coring, then we would agree the specification, but because of the time constraints, we had to agree a spec. Found out the coring details after, and we found that there was actually contaminated tar at a depth of around 90 to 110 mil. That would have had a major impact on our specification because of the additional cost of tar removal.
So if you had proceeded with the original design, would the program of works been the same, or would it have been extended in any terms, either in terms of program or activities?
Well, potentially the program could have changed from 4 to 6 nights, because a way of avoiding tar disposal costs is to plane the non-contaminated area, come back and plane the other the contaminated area and remove that separately. So that would reduce your disposal costs, but that's also extra time. And as I said, we're constrained by time anyway. So if it was plane twice, then lay a base course and reopen the road, it could have potentially, as I say, moved it up to 6 nights instead of 4. So that's
Right.
something. Yeah.
So the danger was that the program was extended. There was a risk that the opening time was delayed, and also potentially a financial risk to the London Borough of Ealing, in that the size of the bill for the tar contamination removal was not known and was not within the budget.
Absolutely. The additional tar cost would have changed everything, and potentially one of the ways round it was to still go ahead, but just reduce the metre squared area of the scheme to match the budget. And even it's a shame to go to so much effort of setting the scheme up and reducing the surfacing extent. So that was the time that we approached Tarmac. Once we knew about the problems, we spoke internally. Well, what are we going to do? And we said that one of the options, we've used Tarmac multi-layer in the borough before, and we've been very happy with it. So that's when I spoke to Roger to discuss about the scheme and what are our options.
Absolutely. So you first contacted me, Richard, about this with a reasonably short deadline, it has to be said. And we like a challenge. And explained the situation and the parameters within which you had to work, and we came up with a proposal for you to consider, and that was to use Ultilayer. The product contains a very high grade of polymer modified binder, so we're able to achieve an extremely durable and deformation and rut resistant pavement design by using a thinner course than conventional materials. And we calculated that we could install 80 millimeters safely without hitting the contaminated material during the planing operation, and achieve a similar pavement strength to the conventional design. So we suggested 80 mil of Ultilayer in a 14 mil aggregate. We also suggested that the material was provided in a warm mix asphalt design, because we were conscious of the fact that the road needed to reopen in the morning, and by providing a deep inlay in a warm mix asphalt, the cooling process will be much shorter than if it was at a conventional hot temperature, and therefore the material would be down to ambient temperature, and at 40 degrees it could be white lined and then reopened to traffic. So that was our suggestion. We also advocated the use of a steel slag aggregate, as that would add to the sustainability credentials. It is a product with 0 carbon rating, as it's a secondary product from the steelmaking industry, and it is extremely favourable for road construction. It has a very low AAV, and a PSV declared at 60 PSV, which satisfied the borough's requirements. So we came to you with that idea. We also proposed that the work be carried out in 2 shifts rather than the 4 you originally had, and we were able to offer that because it was a single layer construction, so plane off and relayer 80, rather than the dual binder surface course design that you originally had. So we proposed that the program time be cut from 4 days to 2, and how did Ealing react to that proposal, Richard?
Well, it was very positive, the response, because it solved various problems. We reduced the risk of any tar contaminants. That was, and during planing, there was no issue with tar. So that's a financial cost put to one side, which is great. A major saving in terms of the time, and 2 nights instead of 4. 2 nights traffic disruption avoided. That's great. And also the environmental benefits of using warm mix instead of hot mix. Again, it's something that feeds into Ealing's carbon reduction targets, and something that we should all be promoting and working for. It's very important.
No, absolutely. And it's important to note that when we use the steel slag aggregate with a RAP addition of up to 10%, the only virgin material that goes into the asphalt is the binder. So the product that you received was actually about 95% recycled material. So only 5% of virgin binder that went into it, and the environmental savings are also further added to by the health and safety benefits. What lessons have been learned during the delivery of this scheme? What would you do differently? What would you do again?
Well, we learned a hell of a lot from it, actually. I think the final outcome was difficult to achieve. It required a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of consultation. But we were flexible with our specification. We were prepared to change. We adapted what we had originally planned, and actually ended up with a better outcome. I think lastly, the environmental benefits that we brought, because of this, we actually did contribute to an environmental benefit. That's a very good achievement, very pleasing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree with you on those key points. The willingness to review designs, to engage with ourselves and your supply chain, the importance of getting the message across. And I spoke to Murrells and to Toppersfield and ensured that they were aware through our contractor laying guide of the requirements necessary to get the best out of the material, the bond coats to use, the compaction equipment, the number of passes, all those kind of details. And I think we can say that the scheme was delivered successfully and continues to perform today and should do for many years to come.
I absolutely agree. It's been a very, very positive scheme from start to finish, from the time we got the money in to the delivery, which went very smoothly, kept all the parties happy, and we've ended up with a very good scheme, in my opinion. Very pleased with it.
We were fortunate enough to make a video recording during the site operations, so we will summarise the project by means of showing a video which should capture all the salient points. But Richard, thank you very much for your time and for explaining how this job was completed, and look forward to working with you on the next one.